Before start this video, please subscribe my channel and click on bell icon. Thanks.
In honor of Futurama airing a new season at the end of this month, here are 10 of my favorite science and math references in the show so far. Many of the writers on Futurama hold advanced degrees in physics, math, computer science, and other brainy fields. Related, Top 10 Funniest Cartoon Shows Ever. 10 The Salmon Life Cycle Futurama S09E13, the crew depicted as animals. Check description in Season 7 Episode 13, Naturama. The characters are featured in a 3-part nature documentary called Mutuals of Omicron's Wild Universe. Stepping away from tea. Although slightly less cerebral than other episodes of Futurama, had it not been for Naturama, I would have certainly failed my first biology quiz of the 6th grade. Part 1. The salmon begins in a cold freshwater stream as salmon eggs begin to hatch among the gravel. Although not discussed in full detail, the animation alleges the first 2 stages of a salmon's life. The new hatchlings, known as alevins, are tiny fish connected to the yolk sac. Once they consume the yolk, they reemerge as juveniles, known as Fry. Like all Fry the character begins his journey from the river to the sea. Soon, he meets and begins to court a beautiful fish named Leela, who promises herself to him when they are at the appropriate mating age. In fact, the courting and spawning processes don't begin until they have returned to their ancestral freshwater homes. However, despite some fictionalization, Futurama developed an accurate and entertaining portrayal of the salmon life cycle. Following a series of unfortunate events and poor judgment, Fry sleeps with his own grandmother, thus becoming his own grandfather. This resulted in having a unique brain pattern without any delta brainwaves. On several occasions, Fry's lack of delta brainwaves allows him to resist multiple evil, mind-hacking powers. For example, the episode Into the Wild Green Yonder introduces the Dark Ones, a mind-reading species intent on taking over the universe. Because he doesn't have a delta brainwave, Fry is immune to the Dark Ones, which allows him to keep his thoughts private and save the universe without detection. On a side note, before doing research for this list, I assumed that the delta brainwave was another of Futurama's inventions to drive the story forward and add depth to Fry's character. In reality, the delta brainwave is very real, albeit poorly understood. The slowest recorded brainwave in humans, the delta wave contributes to deep levels of relaxation and restorative sleep. Delta waves are associated with subconsciousness, making them a reasonably good target for brain hackers. Additionally, scientists have found a negative correlation between delta wave measures and spiritual intelligence, which might suggest that Fry would be highly spiritually intelligent and able to resist the peculiar dark forces throughout the universe. Invented in 1964 by John G. Kemeny and Thomas E. Kurtz, BASIC was one of the first of its kind. As referenced in the episode I, Robot, the coding language is technologically relevant over 1,000 years into the future. When moving in with Bender, Fry passes a sign that reads 10 home, 20 sweet, 30 go to 10, home sweet home for those of you unfamiliar with BASIC. 3. 7 The Birth of Our Universe, the late Philip J. Fry, Futurama's final masterpiece. Season 6 Episode 7, the late Philip J. Fry, posits one of the series' most fascinating theories on time and its cyclical nature, and teaches its audience several great lessons on the creation of our universe. While rushing to meet Leela for dinner, Fry is persuaded by Professor Farnsworth to help test out his newest invention, a forward time machine. Joined by Bender, the two men enter the machine and anticipate to travel 1 minute into the future. They decide to continue traveling further into the future and watch as the universe transforms into nothingness. Amazingly, this supposed end sets off an enormous explosion Farnsworth identifies as the Big Bang. Having witnessed the leading theory on the birth of our universe, Farnsworth concludes that they must be in a universe identical to its predecessor, and by continuing forward in time, the men, and one robot, should be able to return to their lives in New York. This collision, known as the moon-forming impact, vaporized some of the rock and metal from Earth and the colliding object, eventually forming our moon. The problem of relativity. Futurama. Now that's impossible. Futurama characters routinely travel faster than the speed of light to quickly get around intergalactic space, a plot-advancing device that contradicts natural laws of physics. In an interview with the American Physical Society, Cohen explains how he and the other writers attempt to bend the rules in a way that will amuse scientists, even if it is bogus. The writers acknowledge the bogusness of traveling faster than the speed of light with a scene featuring Professor F.A. As a result, the amount of energy required to move the object becomes infinitely great, thus making it impossible for anything to surpass the speed of light. Due to its wave-like nature, a particle does not exist in a precise location but over a range of positions. In order to perfectly measure a wave's position, one would have to collapse it onto a single point with an indefinite wavelength and indefinite speed. Similarly, a particle contains groups of waves that make up a range of momentum, such that a wave with perfectly measurable momentum oscillates infinitely throughout space and has an indefinite position. For instance, researchers must fire photons at an electron to determine its position. These small photons carry and impart their own momentum onto the electron, thus intrinsically changing the system. You changed the outcome by measuring it. This one-liner refers not only to Farnsworth's disappointment in being demoted to loser status, but also to an important consequence revealed by the uncertainty principle. Thus, measuring one quantum variable intrinsically changes the system. The two physicists were grappling with the quantum rule that, as a consequence of its wave-like properties, any given quantum object exists in a state of superposition. Season 6, Episode 16, Law and Oracle, features a reckless Erwin Schrödinger speeding away from the newly appointed NYPD officer Fry and his partner URL. Eventually, the officers capture the physicist and ask about the contents of the mysterious box in the car. If so, congratulations, you have made one of math's most artistic discoveries, the Mobius strip. The Mobius strip is a non-orientable surface in which you cannot distinguish clockwise and counterclockwise turns. The second reference to the abstract surface appears in the episode 2D Blacktop, 7 ACV 15, when Leela and Professor Farnsworth race along the Mobius drag strip. As they begin their journey once around both same sides of the half-twist, and back to the start and the finish line, their vehicles collide at relativistic speed, and they are transported into a two-dimensional universe. Don't worry, they eventually make a safe return to the third dimension. Additionally, a sphere can be reassembled into another sphere of any size. The logic behind this paradox boils down to manipulating countably infinite sets and uncountably infinite sets, the precise mathematics of which I will not bore you with now. However, I encourage you to read the Quantum Magazine article on this topic if you're itching to learn more. Farnsworth, an aging and shrinking old man, developed something that could create smaller duplicates of his sweaters, which he tasked Bender to fold. Avoiding this chore, Bender installs the machine into his chest cavity and creates 2 more of himself at 60% to do his bidding. At the end of the episode, they all help the original Bender defeat a giant by forming one huge Bender. Although the Banark-Tarski duplashrinker doesn't completely conform to its mathematics, the episode makes several clever references to the paradox. For this episode, Keeler develops the only mathematical proof written solely for a television show. In Prisoner of Benda, the theorem is developed by Bubblegum, Sweet Clyde, and Express of the Harlem Globetrotters in order to solve a mess created by Professor Farnsworth, Amy, and their mind switcher device. After testing out the device on themselves and having fun experiencing life as each other for a bit, Farnsworth and Amy decide to switch back to normal. Not much later, they realize that the machine will not allow the same pair of bodies to sit in the machine more than once. Oh, no. Is it possible to get everyone back to normal using 4 or more bodies? The mayhem continues as more people and wash buckets get involved in the shuffle. Bubblegum and Sweet Clyde act as the additional help required by the theorem. 10. Split everyone into groups based on who needs to end up in what body. Put these groups in an ordered line, with each person facing the body they need to end up in. Group 1, Professor, Leela, L, Hermes, H, Amy, A, Washbucket, W, Emperor Nikolai, En, Bender, B, P. Group 2, Swaberg and Fry's body, F, Z, and Fry and Swaberg's body, Z, F. Swap the mind of the person at the front of any line with the first helper, Sweet Clyde. Then, have the second helper, Bubblegum, switch with everybody else, starting from the back and working forward. Group 1, B, P, SC, SC, equals B, SC, SC, P, BG, BG, P, L, equals BG, L, P, BG, BG, L, L, H, equals L, L. BG, H, H, A, equals H, H. BG, A, W, equals A, A. BG, W, W, N, equals W, W. BG, N, B, equals N, BG, B, B, SC, equals BG, SC, B, B. BG, SC, P, BG, equals BG, BG. P, SC, P, SC, SC, P, equals P, P, SC, SC. Group 2, SC, Z, and F, SC, BG, BG, Z asterisk asterisk, F, equals BG, F, Z, BG, SC, Z, Z, BG, equals C, Z. BG, F, F, SC, equals F, F. BG, SC, SC, BG, equals SC, SC. BG, BG. Fact-checked by Darcy Heikkinen. Thanks for watching. Credits to listverse.com. Please subscribe my channel for more videos.